really are just so many fuckboys in the world. Sorry, I have to like hold my phone because I have nothing to prop it on. Shit, sorry. I think there's a bug somewhere. Today I'm going to be sharing the story of my fucking psycho, cheating, coked out ex-boyfriend and how it's really possible to get over anyone. I literally thought I would never get over this guy, and here I am, not giving a shit. I'm a sophomore in college now, but I met my ex-boyfriend, who's my first and only real serious boyfriend, in 8th grade in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in a Winn-Dixie, which I know that sounds crazy, like you really can meet anyone anywhere. And he was a sophomore in high school, I was in 8th grade, and we met and we like exchanged phone numbers, but I lived in Texas. Like my family was just on a vacation. But we stayed in touch and we texted for like over a year, even though he had like a girlfriend, which is shady. It should have been like the first sign that maybe he wasn't a loyal person. And yes, he broke up with the girlfriend long before him and I were like even close to being a real thing or exclusive, so don't get it twisted. We stayed in touch for a really long time, and my parents were like, okay, wow, like you've stuck with this kid forever, so we'll fly you out to Florida to visit him. My parents booked a trip to Florida, we went to visit him, we liked each other in person, like everything was good. So we just kind of like continued to progress our relationship. I started visiting him more, we texted and FaceTimed and everything all the time. By like my sophomore year of high school, so his senior year, was when we were like getting pretty fucking serious. Like we hadn't had a conversation about being boyfriend, girlfriend, but I mean, maybe I was just naive, but I didn't feel like that conversation was necessary. You know, like I feel like when two people love each other and have a thing regardless of distance, I don't think you have to have like a sit-down conversation about what the relationship is. Like by this point, we've been talking for like 2.5 years. I mean, it was pretty evident that we were most definitely like together. My junior year of high school, on one of the trips that I went to visit him, which was like the biggest like showdown vacation, I guess. Like that was the trip that I lost my virginity to him. Like I met all of his like fraternity brothers, because my junior year of high school he was a freshman in college and he was living in his fraternity house, so I met all of them. Like it was a big deal. So that was the trip that he had the conversation with me, like, okay, yes, like you're my girlfriend. But like I kind of felt like I'd already been his girlfriend for a long fucking time, seeing as we met when I was in 8th grade. And now this was my junior year of high school, but it was just like official at this point, I guess, like super official. Our relationship was really good. Like we were super duper in love with each other, like obsessed with each other, like super honeymoon stage, and everything was really good up until that summer, the summer before my senior year. And I went on a trip to visit him for the summer, and I stayed with him for like a whole week. And the very last day of the trip, like before, like an hour before I was supposed to go on the plane back to Texas, I found out that he had cheated on me with multiple people, and that was literally like the worst pain of my life. Like I have never cried and screamed so much ever, like horrible. I came back to Texas and I literally slept in my mom's bed with her for a week. Like I honestly don't wish the pain of being cheated on anybody, not even my worst enemy. I don't really have a worst enemy, but you know what I mean. So that was really, really, really tough on me, and I didn't know what to do. Like my first reaction was break up. Like that's what you're told, right? Like when someone cheats on you, like you don't stay with them. So I wanted to break up, but I was really dumb and really naive, and I loved him so much, and it kind of came down to him being like, well, I had sex with those people before we had the conversation that we were boyfriend, girlfriend. And I was like, okay, well, even if you want to pull that card and try and claim that it wasn't physical cheating, that was still definitely like a fucked up thing to do, like emotional cheating. Like you were FaceTiming me every day telling me you loved me and that we were a thing, yet you were having sex with other people. Like it's no, like no excuse. It wasn't okay. We stayed together because I was weak as fuck and I loved him and I literally could not imagine being without him. Like, wow, I fucking suck. A couple months later, so like October of my senior year of high school, things just weren't the same because of the cheating thing. Like it can't go back to normal, but we were still together, which is all that I really cared about. And I was in class and my phone kept ringing and I was in class, so I was like, this is weird. And it was a number I didn't know, but it was a Florida number, and I was like, okay, this is strange. Like my boyfriend lives in Florida, I should probably call this number. So I left the classroom, went out in the hallway at school, and called the number back, and it was one of my boyfriend's fraternity brothers who I hadn't met before, and he was just like, I know you're his girlfriend, I just wanted to let you know that he's in a really bad place. Basically what had happened was, a few weeks prior to this phone call was his fraternity's formal, and people in college are crazy, and apparently he did a lot of cocaine on formal, and I get that in college a lot of people do cocaine. I honestly swear to God have never even tried cocaine, but I know that a lot of people do it, and I wasn't really mad that he did it when he was on his formal, but when he got back from formal, he was still doing cocaine like every single day, like for like 2 or 3 weeks every single day. And basically what happened was he literally fried his motherfucking brain, like coked the fuck out, and he was paranoid and like literally going insane. So his brothers took him to a psych ward to put him in there against his will because they knew that he was in a really bad place, and he was in there for 3 days, and basically he had to get a medical withdrawal form for his university to be withdrawn for the semester because he wasn't in a place that he could be at school. He needed to go back home, he needed to be in therapy, he needed to be on pills to like kind of just reconfigure his brain. So I again didn't know what to do. I was like, fuck, like I didn't sign up for this, like this isn't the person I fell in love with, this isn't what I want in a relationship, someone who cheated on me and now someone who has to withdraw from college for a semester because they literally did that much cocaine. I wanted to break up with him again, and he was like, you can't leave me, like sickness and health, like stick by me, like kind of pulling like the marriage card even though we weren't married and I was only like 18, like what do you want from me, kid? But I stuck with him, and I went to visit him in his hometown in Fort Lauderdale and stayed with him and his family, was a support system for him, went down to visit him, whatever, just sticking by him through anything and everything. Basically just things just started happening after that point where I just didn't feel the same. So my feelings slowly started to diminish over time, while ironically his feelings for me kept growing stronger. And we stuck together through all of my senior year. Even though my feelings were diminishing, he was just doing and saying a lot of things that were like pissing me off, and he just wasn't really the same person anymore. He even flew out to Texas a few times, and he came down for my senior prom, and even for my senior prom, like we had a great time and it was awesome that he came. The feelings weren't there anymore. And when your feelings start to diminish, that's like a really bad sign. Even when he went back to college in his spring semester, he was just not the same. Like the cocaine, whatever it did to his brain, like he was not the same person. The summer before my freshman year of college, I went to visit him for 2 whole weeks to like stay with him. Like he thought when I moved down to Florida for college, even though we didn't go to the same university, but they were still in the same state, that we were going to be together, and he was so in love with me. And by this point, like I just really didn't know how I felt about him at all. In the whole trip, I just didn't really feel anything for him. I didn't want to have sex with him, which is never a good sign. Like everything was just off. And then the very last night of the trip, we went out together, and some random kid, just a happy drunk kid on the street, like was giving random people high fives, and he high-fived me. And my crazy fucking boyfriend wanted to like fight this kid for high-fiving me, like, well, you're gonna touch my girl, bro? Like literally crazy, like jealous and possessive to a whole fucking new level. And I was like, you're literally fucking crazy. So like I went home with some of his fraternity brothers we were out with, not like went home with them, you know. They were like, this isn't so unhealthy, like you don't deserve this, like this is like not serving you anymore. And the fact that his fraternity brothers were like on my side and telling me that I should not be with him, like really spoke volumes to me. That night when we went back home to his place to like go to sleep and stuff, I just started crying, and I was like, I can't do this, I need a break. And everyone knows that a break ultimately means a breakup, and he knew that. So he started crying, and it was really sad, and whatever. I went back to Texas, and I was texting some of his fraternity brothers that I was really good friends with and trying to get their advice, and it basically came down to I was gonna break up with him. And I guess like they kind of told him like, dude, like she's out, like it's over. So he called me like a week later and was like, I'm breaking up with you, I guess just so he could have the like satisfaction of saying that he was the one that broke up with me. But he didn't want to break up. Like for a whole year after the breakup, he was still saying and doing things all the time that like insinuated that he wished like we could be back together and he could have another chance, and it was just way too far gone. Like there was no chance in hell that would ever happen. There was a quote that I saw on Facebook the other day, which is really, really accurate to this situation, and it said something like, I will love you so fiercely that my feelings for you will diminish so slowly, but once they're gone and I stop giving a fuck, you're never gonna get me back. And that's literally exactly what happened. I'm sure, like, still to this day, if I wanted to be back with him, even though it's been like almost 2 years since we broke up, he would jump at the opportunity to be with me. Like, we're cordial, we're on good terms, we have each other on social media and stuff, but like, I just could never be with him again. Basically, the lessons I want to share from this story are that no matter how much you love someone and think you're never gonna get over somebody, you will. And I know people say that all the time and it sounds so unbelievable, especially when you're in the middle of a relationship and you love someone so much and you don't understand why they've hurt you or why they've broken up with you or whatever, and you don't think you're ever going to get over it. Like, you fucking will. Because I was so in love with this kid that it like made me like physically ill. Like, I couldn't even believe like how much I love someone, and I thought we were going to be together forever and I would stick by him through anything. Now looking back on all the times that I cried so much and I thought I would never get over it, like, I'm here now and frankly I just don't give a shit. I promise you that you'll get to a point where you don't give a shit either, because time really does heal all wounds, like, as cheesy as that sounds. But with each passing day, like, you just kind of gain more strength and you realize your worth and you realize that that person wasn't serving you. You just realize that you can do better and that you are better and it's gonna be okay. I think something good to know is if someone doesn't want to be with you, whether you were together and they broke up with you, or you want to be with someone that you kind of have a thing with but they can't be with you or won't be with you for whatever reason, I think it's important to know that the right person for you will fucking want to be with you. Like, people spend so much time like getting hung up on people that they really want to be with and that they really love and feel something towards, but you can't be with that person for whatever reason and you just literally have to move on. Like, I'm in a similar situation right now. There's a guy that I really care about and I wish in a perfect world we could be something together, but we aren't, and we aren't going to be probably ever, and that's the shittiest feeling. But I think because of my relationship with my ex, I've kind of learned to cope, and I just know that if he doesn't want me, that's an issue with him, not with me. You can't blame yourself for someone else's insecurities or issues or reasons that they don't want to be with you. Like, all you can be is yourself, and if someone doesn't want you for who you are, then like, fuck that noise. You shouldn't even fucking want to even be talking to someone who can't even appreciate your worth and your value, you know? Like, you are your biggest cheerleader. You have to be. So you just have to realize your worth and realize how fucking awesome you are. And if someone can't see that, or if someone breaks up with you or doesn't want to be with you, then just fuck them. Like, it's gonna hurt and it's gonna be shitty, but you can fucking move on from it. Like, I promise you, you can. Also, I know it's hard when you love someone or are in love with someone and you care for them so deeply and you would do anything for them, but if someone keeps showing you multiple reasons why they don't deserve that love or don't deserve your affection, then stop giving it to them. Just have enough self-respect to only waste time on someone who is going to see you for like everything that you have to offer. Nobody has time for fuckboys. Another important thing to remember is that everything really does happen for a reason. Like, for fuck's sake, I met this kid in a Winn-Dixie grocery store. Like, what is the chance of that? Like, I firmly believe that I was supposed to have met him for a reason. And going through all the shit that he put me through and the really tumultuous relationship and the breakup and everything, it's hard to see like the silver lining. Like, what could be the fucking purpose for this? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, what is God's plan? What is the universe's plan? Why the fuck do I have to be going through this? But with time, not only do your wounds heal, but also you start to learn why these things happen to you. And I firmly believe that I met him in order to be a stronger person. Like, I have dealt with some serious fuckboys since this relationship, and instead of crying over them like all the time, which over my ex-boyfriend I would cry all the fucking time, I just kind of hold my head high. I just realized that I'm strong enough to cope, and I think that my first relationship was such a crazy tumultuous one, so that now whatever comes my way in regards to love and relationships and boys, I can handle it, and I wouldn't be as strong of a person I am now if I hadn't had to deal with that. And I know that I was cheated on, and a lot of people say that once you're cheated on you have trust issues, but I can firmly say I don't have trust issues. Like, I'm a very trusting person. Like, I will trust you and believe in you and love you until you give me a reason not to. I think it just opened my eyes to realize that people aren't as perfect as you perceive them to be. And if someone cheats on you, like, that's not an issue with you, that's an issue with them. And honestly, once a cheater, always a cheater. Like, I know that my ex-boyfriend, he has a new girlfriend now, like, I know for a fact he's probably already cheated on her, and if he hasn't, he's going to. And it's a vicious cycle, and like I said, that affects him and all his future relationships. That doesn't affect me. Like, I came out of this relationship and I'm so mentally and emotionally strong now, and I wouldn't be if I hadn't been through that. So I know that in the moment it seems really difficult, but I promise that it's happening for a reason, whether if it's to grow you, mold you, shape you, anything. It's happening because it's supposed to, and in the long run, one day you'll be able to wake up and be like, wow, that's why I had to go through that shit. But if I hadn't gone through that shit, I wouldn't be the person I am now, you know? So just take everything with a grain of salt and just remember your worth and your value, and realize that everything, no matter how shitty, is happening to you because it's meant to be happening to you. Bye everyone, thanks for watching.